The rumors about you are getting completely out of hand. And I mean that in the most real, most specific, this is actually happening right now way possible. Because here's the thing. People are talking about you, not just a little, not just occasionally, like constantly. And what they are saying is not what you think. No, it's not what you think. But before we go any further, let's hit pause on that for a second. I know it feels like the noise is getting louder than your own voice. I know that exhaustion that settles you in your bones when you realize your name is being tossed around in rooms you're not even in. And I want you to hear this. You're not crazy for feeling exhausted by the whispers. That heaviness, that's not a weakness. That's the weight of carrying a story that isn't even yours. A story that other people have been writing about you without your permission. Here's the thing about rumors that we don't talk about enough. You remember playing broken telephone, as a kid, right? Or one person whispers a simple sentence like, "The sun is shining." And by the time it reaches the 10th person, it becomes, "The sun is whining." That's exactly what's happening in your life right now. By the time a story about you reaches the audience, it has been filtered through 10 different people insecurities, like jealousy, of course, jealousy, and poor hearing. It's no longer a report of reality. It's a mutated piece of fiction. And when you really let that sink in, it completely changes everything. Stop taking it personally. You're not reacting to a fact. You are reacting to a glitch in the system. So, listen. Let's get real for a second. It hurts when people misinterpret your heart. Yeah, of course it does. You're human. And having your intentions twisted into something ugly is one of the most painful things to endure. But the version of you they created in their head, that's not your responsibility. Okay, so let's just start with the obvious thing that nobody actually says out loud, but everybody feels the second you walk into a room. There is something about you, and I know you've probably heard that before, maybe in ways that didn't feel like a compliment, but listen to what I mean by it. You know how most people, you can kind of clock them in the first 30 seconds. You see them, you get a read, and that's basically it. That is not what happens with you. People look at you and they feel like they are only seeing the first page of something much longer. You surprise them, not in a weird way, in a way, wait, I didn't see that coming away. You do something, you say something, you handle a situation in a way that they were not expecting, and suddenly the whole story they'd written about you in their head just gets rewritten from scratch. The shocking truth, it's really rarely even about you. It's about their own limitations. People are fascinated by you because your existence forces them to confront the boundaries they have placed on their own lives. And that fascinates them, like genuinely fascinates them. They talk about you. Yeah, there is more to them than meets the eye. That is a real sentence that real people in your actual life have said about you to someone else. And here's the moment, the wildest part. Some of these people have never ever had a full, real conversation with you. They've built entire theories about who you are based on fragments, based on glimpses, and still, even with these fragments, just fragments, they sense it. That underneath everything, there is something there, something layered, something powerful, something they cannot quite name, but absolutely cannot ignore. And here's where it gets really interesting, because a big part of why people cannot stop talking about you is what you've survived. Yeah. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I haven't survived anything that dramatic, and I need you to hear this clearly. You are doing that thing where you normalize your own story because it happened to you. You lived it, so it feels ordinary. It doesn't feel like something worth talking about. But other people, they see what you went through, the relationship that should have broken you, the betrayal that would have broken most people out of for years. The moment where everything you'd built came apart and you just had to figure out how to keep standing. And they look at you now and they are shook. Yeah, because you are still here. You're not just still here, actually. You are here, present, awake, moving forward. And that's not nothing. That's actually everything. Rumors are just broke people trying to spend their reputation, your reputation. And when people try to tear down what you've built, they are really just admitting they don't have anything on their own to build with. There are people in your life who watched you go through something, and they will tell you quietly when they finally feel comfortable enough, I don't know how you did that. I generally don't think I could have. They say it like a confession, like they have been holding it for a while and just needed to get it out. Because you make it look like so natural, like a resilience is just a personality trait you were born with. And they are over here realizing it's something you earned, something you fought for, in the quiet, in the dark, when nobody was watching, and there was no applause, and you just chose again and again to keep going. People don't forget that. They talk about it. They say things like, don't underestimate them. And they are stronger than they look. And they mean it with a kind of reverence, not just admiration. Now, let me get into the thing that might actually blow your mind. Because this one comes up over and over and over again when people talk about you. And it's your instincts, your knowing. You have this ability, and some of you have been dismissing it your whole life as just a feeling. But other people have noticed it from the outside and they are genuinely confused by it. You can walk into a situation and read it instantly. You can sense when something's off before anyone had said a single word about it. You can be in a conversation and catch the thing underneath the thing, the real motive, and the actual feeling hiding behind the polished sentence. You've called things before they happened. You've read people in ways that turned out to be exactly right, sometimes uncomfortably right. And people around you have started talking about this, like really talking about it. How did they know? They said that 3 months ago. I should have listened. Yeah, I should have listened when they told me something felt off. Yeah, it's like they can read my mind. That sentences. Some people think it's uncanny luck. Some people think it's just a really sharp observation. But what they agree on across the board is that you notice things, you notice inconsistencies, you notice when someone's energy shifts, you notice the tiny little flicker on something someone's face does when they say something they don't fully believe. And that makes certain people very, very nervous, because there is something about your presence that makes it hard to perform, hard to wear a mask. Like you create this field where people accidentally become real, whether they meant to or not. Yeah. They're auditioning for a role in a life they don't have access to. They will be talking to you and suddenly find themselves saying things they had zero intention of saying, telling you things they haven't told their closest friends, and then walking away going, why did I just do that? Why did I tell them that? And then they go tell other people about it, which honestly is kind of hilarious. They're humors that start because people cannot believe how much they trusted you, end up making people trust you even more. It's this wild feedback loop, and you're just at the center of it, probably not even realizing it's happening. And speaking of things you haven't fully realized, can we talk about your glow up for a second? Because people are talking about this. And I'm not primarily talking about your appearance, although sure, that too. You look good. Yeah, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But what people are actually noticing, what they cannot stop commenting on to each other, is the internal shift. There is a version of you from a few years ago, or maybe even from a period a lot more recent than that, and the distance between that version and who you are right now is something people around you can feel. You started choosing yourself. Maybe quietly, maybe in small ways at first, but you started doing it. You started saying no to things that were draining you. You started trusting your own read on situation instead of constantly second-guessing it. Your boundaries became formidable, not aggressive, not defensive, just solid. Like you stopped needing to explain yourself to people who were never going to understand anyway. You don't owe an explanation to people committed to misunderstanding you. That's a boundary, and it's a powerful one. And there are people in your life, people who thought they had you figured out, who thought they knew exactly what you were going to do and how you were going to respond, who are now sitting with this weird mix of surprise and something that looks like a lot like respect, even if they are not fully ready to admit it yet. They say things like, I didn't see that coming, and I never thought they'd actually do that. And underneath all of it is this recognition. The version of you they are looking is now is not the version they made their assumptions about. And they kind of have to start over, which is honestly a beautiful thing to witness. People only gossip about what they wish they had the courage to do. And your courage, it's shaking the foundation of people who have been playing small their whole lives. And here's the part I really want to slow down on, because it's the thing that keeps coming up in the most unexpected way. Not everyone who's talking about you is doing it from a place of admiration. And I think you already knew that. You felt it. You have your intuition. You felt it. That the person in your circle whose energy has never quite sat right with you, who smiles at the right moments, but whose eyes don't quite match. The one who asks questions that feel more like civilians than curiosity. Here's what's actually happening with that person. Your presence activates something in them that they do not know what to do with. It's not really about you. It's about what you reflect back. When someone has made a lot of peace with a small life, with certain compromises, with a version of themselves they've convinced themselves is good enough, and then they spend time around someone who refuses to settle, someone who walked through the hard thing and came out more themselves instead of less. You know what happened. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. Not because you did anything wrong, because you are evidence of a different choice. And some people would rather discredit the evidence than reconsider the choice. They are trying to make your light look like a fire they needed to put out. So they talk, they pick apart your story, they question your motives. They find the angle that makes your growth look like something other than what it actually is. And here is the shocking, almost poetic thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, because even when they are trying to drag your name, even when they are telling someone the version of you they have constructed to themselves feel better, the person they are talking to is actually sitting there going, that actually sounds incredible. That person sounds like someone I'd want to know. You cannot make a story out of someone's resilience and have it land as a takedown. It doesn't work that way. The story is too strong. You are too strong. Your silence is a power move they don't know how to handle. And when you refuse to engage, beautiful part, when you refuse to engage, when you don't react the way they expect, you break the entire circle. And also, there are people out there, more than you think, way more than you've been told, who are secretly, quietly, intensely rooting for you. People who watched you go through something difficult and never forgot it. Who think about your story when they are in the middle of their own hard things and use them as a reminder that making it through is actually possible. You've said something to someone, maybe offhand, maybe in a moment when you were not even fully paying attention, that they carried with them for years. You don't know which conversation it was. You don't know which exact sentence landed the way it landed. But somewhere out there, there is a person for whom something you said or did or simply became a turning point. Became a turning point. That's the beautiful part. And they talk about you. They tell other people, they say, there is this person I know, or I once met someone who, and the story they tell is yours. You are showing up in conversations you're not even in as proof of something people need to believe it is true. That healing is possible, that starting over is real, that the version of yourself who you lost somewhere along the way hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's just been waiting. The more you grow, the more they will try to shrink you with words. But the people who actually matter, they are not shrinking you, they are expanding the story of you in rooms you'll never even been. You will never even walk into. They are carrying your name with reverence. Now here is the one that's going to sit with you the little longest. So I want to say it slowly. The biggest rumor, the one that keeps circulating, the one that comes up in the most different kinds of conversations about you, is that you don't fully know who you are. And before you react to that, let me tell you what they mean. It's not an insult. It's actually the most fascinating kind of compliment. What people are noticing is that the gifts you carry, the depth you have, the way you affect people around you, you seem almost unaware of it. Like you've been so busy surviving, so busy getting through the day, so busy being the person who holds things together, that you haven't stopped to look, just to look what you've actually become. They see wisdom in you that you chalk up to just having been through stuff. They see intuition in you that you call common sense. They see strength in you that you describe as just doing what I had to do. And from the outside, watching someone carry all of that without fully declaiming it, it's like watching someone walk around with an incredible gift wrapped up and sitting in their hands that they have not opened yet. People want to shake you gently and go, look at what you have. Look at what you are. The things you've been through that you consider ordinary because they happened to you, they are not ordinary. What you've survived would have fundamentally altered almost people. And the fact that you came through it and are still generous, still open, still capable of showing up for other people, that is remarkable. That is the thing people whisper about when you're not in the room. Not what's wrong with them, but how are they like that? How are they still that open after everything? How do they still trust? How do they still care? I see you. I hear you. And I know how heavy this feels. I know you're tired. I know some days you wonder if it's even worth it to keep showing up the way you do. But you are far more than the rumors could ever capture. You are layered. You are deep. You are still becoming. And the people around you, some of them, the ones paying attention, they know that you are on a path, that you are in the middle of something, that the story you are living right now is not even close to the best part. They see it in the way you move, in the choices you've been making lately, in the directions you've been slowly, deliberately turning yourself toward. And they are watching with this mixture of wonder and anticipation, like they've got front row seats to something they know is going to be extraordinary. And they cannot look away. They talk about you because you are memorable. Yeah, memorable. Because you walked through fires that should have consumed you, and you came out carrying something, a kind of warmth, a kind of knowing that you cannot fake. Yeah, you cannot fake, and you cannot manufacture. It either happened to you or it didn't. And it happened to you. Don't trade your peace for their drama. Protect your energy like it's yours most valuable currency. Keep your head high and your circle tight. Let them whisper. While they are talking, you are building. You are constructing something real, something solid, something that doesn't need their validation to exist. Today we are taking the power back. Taking the power back. Because the only story about you that actually matters is the one you are writing right now in real time, with the choices you are making and the person you are choosing to become. Other people's versions of you, the admiring ones, the threatened ones, the confused ones, they are all just a reflection of the impact you are already having. They are proof of that you exist, really exist in a way that matters and sticks and changes things. But they are not the truth of you. The truth of you is something only you have access to. It's in the thing you felt this morning before your brain turned all the way on. It's in the version of yourself you glimpse sometimes in quiet moments that feels free, free in a way your everyday life doesn't quite allow yet. That version is not a fantasy. That version is where you are headed. So stay authentic, even when it's inconvenient for them. Because your truth doesn't need their approval to be real. And the rumors are just everyone else catching up to something you've known about yourself deep down all along. You are more than people think. You are more than you've let yourself believe. And the best part, genuinely, the most exciting part, is that the chapters that are coming, the ones that haven't happened yet, they are going to be so far beyond anything anyone is currently saying about you that the rumors are going to have to completely start over. And they will. Yeah, they will. because it's just what happens when you are. You are you. When you are you.